You nourish your values, nourish your family, nourish what's valuable for you, take care of your responsibilities, feed, nourish. But then I'm also asking you to do battle with your enemies. Take sword to your enemies. Whatever's going to destroy those values, take sword to it. If it's worry, take sword to it. If it's threat, threaten back. I'm asking you, take sword to your enemies, whether they're on the outside or whether they're on the inside. Protect your family, protect your future, protect your values. Love, nourish, but also do battle with whatever is out there to do battle with you.
If you think about the times when you're at peace with yourself with regards to how you're conducting yourself in the world, it's almost always conditions under which you've adopted responsibility, right? At least the most guilt I think that you can experience, perhaps, is the sure knowledge that you're not even taking care of yourself, so that you're leaving that responsibility to other people, because that's pretty pathetic, and unless you're psychopathic.
If you would have known me at age 25, you would have said, Jim Rohn's a hard worker. If you'd have known me, you'd have said that. I'm the guy, I don't mind coming a little bit early, staying a little bit late, I don't mind that. You'd have said, well, Jim Rohn's a hard worker. You say, well, how come he's got pennies in his pocket and nothing in the bank and behind on his promises? Well, I was a hard worker, but I was working hard on my job, not on myself.
Well, before you start to label yourself as somebody who has anxiety, social anxiety, right? I want you to stop and consider the difference between social anxiety and just actually not liking big parties. Seriously.
But every day is a fresh start. I love the way God's arranged it, that in these 24-hour periods where we're up about 16 hours and then we sleep 8 hours, and then it's amazing how much better things sometimes feel just in the morning, isn't it? You're tired by the end of the day, you need the rest, your mind needs the rest, your spirit needs the rest, everything needs to rest. One of the first things you need to do every morning is take care of every mess from yesterday by repenting and receiving God's mercy.
Faced the fact, but he kept his faith. And you can do both. Faced the fact, I'm not living in denial, but he kept his faith. I'm not living in despair. Faith is standing in the middle and making a decision that it is what it is. But watch this. Is not what it seems.
When you show up late, when you are out of shape and your job requires you to be in shape, when you are not working as hard as you know you can work on the job, when you are giving people attitude because they're giving you an attitude, it's like a cycle of death.
Some of the doors that have been closed for a long time, you need to get ready. God is about to show out in your life. One touch of his favor, one good break, one contract, one healing, meeting one right person will catapult you to a new level. What I love is even when we lock the door, even when we let fear, insecurity, intimidation cause us to shrink back, God says, that's no problem for me. Fear can't keep me out.
If you're going to look at what's going to make life work, it's really simple. What makes people happy is progress. We're happy when we're progressing. If you're overweight, but you leave today and you say, you know what, this breakthrough thing, what I got today for me more than anything else is, I've been stuck waiting for some magical diet, some magical exercise plan, some magical time in the future when I have more time. There is no more time. I'm just going to make a decision today to get started. I don't need to go out there and go interview 20 trainers and get online. I don't need somebody to give me a perfect plan. I just pick up my shoes and start walking.
You'll be amazed at what will happen if you'll start thinking power thoughts. No weapon formed against me will prosper. God has me in the palm of his hand. He's made me untouchable to the enemy. When you dwell on that, you'll feel strength rising up, courage, determination.
I want to get something out of this too. And I don't even know why I was feeling anxious and feeling anxiety. Oh, I know. Don't be anxious for nothing. Easier said than done.
If you keep yourself pure, you will be a tool that God can use for his purpose. And your life will be clean, and you will be ready for the master to use for every good work. You'll be clean, and then God can use you.
if the rich would only loosen their grip on wealth, then there wouldn't be poverty. And then it's not much of a leap from that to the rich are by definition causing poverty and morally culpable for it. And even though there is some truth to that, that doesn't mean that it's always true and it's the only reason all the time.
I'm expecting to get to my destination as planned. Even though I'm expecting things to go my way, I've made provision in case it doesn't. I've taken steps ahead of time in case the tire goes flat.
Stronghold is any area of your life that has a stronghold on you. It's an area that you are unable to get God's truth to it. It's actually a term that's used in warfare. A stronghold was when you would put a wall up for a fortress to keep the enemy out.
I believe that if we don't learn that we can hear from God and make our own decisions, that we can alter our destinies, and not in a good way. I think we can actually stop the plan that God has for us if we become people pleasers and not God pleasers.
Your gift can be anything. You can't look at it as simply running, jumping, singing, and dancing. But I tell you one thing, your gift is the thing that you do the absolute best with the least amount of effort. For me, it was comedy. So once you identify it, then that's the beginning of it. But there's a lot of work to do even after you identify your gift. You know, you can believe you're something all you want, but if you don't work towards it, you're just sitting there, it's going to be empty.
A lot of people start from a good starting point. They have a good foundation. What if you can surpass all of these? What if everybody who was way up here started up here, and you started with no legs. You had to grow legs to even start walking, and then crawling, and then running. And then you start passing people and all this given to them.
I'm telling you, if you'll learn that simple little principle and start the process today, latest tomorrow, I'll give you tonight to think it over. And start this whole process of personal development, work on yourself, make yourself more valuable to the marketplace. I'm telling you, you can so dynamically change your income, and economics is the least of the values that you can start earning in terms of equity.
I'm hungry today at 57 more than I was at 26. You know, I'm feeling me. And when I say hungry, I'm hungry to contribute, to learn, to grow, to make a difference. I'll never settle less than I can be or do or share or give or create. And everyone I know that's successful, that's the driving force. Because with that hunger, you can get the skill. With that hunger, you can figure it out. There are a lot of very smart people who can't fight their way out of a paper bag in a pragmatic way.
The discipline calls for strength and fortitude and will. It won't accept weakness. It won't tolerate another breakdown. The discipline can seem like it's your worst enemy. But the reality is, discipline is your best friend. It will take care of you like nothing else can.
Here's what I discovered that happens to you in life, that you will go through things, and while you're going through them, you can't understand why it's happening to you. But after you go through it and you get back and you look at it and you say, oh, now I understand why I needed that lesson. Have you ever happened to you? Raise your hand. Has it ever happened to you that I couldn't understand it then, but after I got through it, then I saw that was preparing me for bigger and better things.
He told the guy, he said, when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. I don't know how many of y'all got asthma here today, but if you ever had an asthma attack before, you short of breath, SOB, shortness of breath, you wheezing. The only thing you're trying to do is get some air.
Stop doing the things that you know are wrong that you could stop doing. Right? So it's a fairly limited attempt. First of all, we're not going to say that you know what the good is or what the truth is in any ultimate sense. But we will presume that there are things that you're doing that for one reason or another you know are not in your best interests. There's something about them that you just know you should stop. They're kind of self-evident to you.
Have you ever had to pray and ask God and believe God and trust God when He didn't answer the last thing that you prayed for? That's hard. Whether we will admit it or not, our faith deteriorates when our expectations are not met.
Faith, words are powerful. It actually goes out into the spirit realm when you pray and you say and you add that obedient action. And they go out into the spirit realm and they start releasing the power of God and things begin to happen. Let's just take for a minute my life, or you can take any one of your lives. I didn't really ever understand what I had, but I look back now and I know that God was with me.
My friend was trying to get me to see, you got the right idea, but you got the wrong identity. You're not a machine. I know every parent sometimes just feels like a vending machine, and then an Uber, and then a referee, and then what else you feel like? Parents, what you feel like sometimes? I feel like if I'm not driving them somewhere, cleaning something up, I'm a housekeeper, I'm a short order chef, but I'm not. That's not all I am.
I'll be in these moments. I put these guys on some pedestal.
Yeah. Which people do with you.
They do with me, and they shouldn't. And I was this guy who was peaches, look at this, like, God, how are you guys? It's amazing. But once I worked my way up there, I said, my God, man, we can all compete. Let's go. So do I like suffering? I like suffering in the way that is competitive, that brings out the absolute best in me and in everybody else.
You made the decision, that's what I really want. That's what my life's gonna be about. And that decision has affected so much of your life. What you do, how you live your life, how you spend your time, what you earn or don't earn, you know, who you attract into your life, beliefs you have, all come from some of these little decisions. What you decide to eat from your dinner plate each night certainly determines your physical destiny, right? We all know that, at least to a certain extent. I know there's a certain amount that's genetics, but I'm talking about the stuff you and I can control.
I've read every single page of every single thing I was assigned during college. That's ridiculous. It's almost a waste of time. It's almost embarrassing. Echo definitely thinks it's a waste of time. But it was because I just could lock my brain down and get it done. Yeah. So then get back to the teams, and in the teams, officer in the teams, you have a lot of administrative paperwork to do, evaluations and after actions reports and all these things. And I would do the same thing. I just go in a lockdown mode and put my brain on it, and boom, I'd go through it.
When I'm looking at my life as a father, as a grandfather, that what I do, how I approach my life, how I use my time, who I spend time with, who I will even get a telephone call from and speak to. This is the time that I want you to write this down. Share some points, because my goal is to finish strong.
You should have brought me a long time ago. I'm unbreakable now. You should have brought me when I was eating out of trash can. It's too late now. I'm in the Rich Carlton. It's too late now. The only chance at this point is you got to kill me. Martin Luther King, you got to kill me now. And then when you kill me, MLK, my legacy will live.
I was curious. I mean, the first question was, were these merely two ways of looking at the world? Now, because you might think, well, there's no shortage of ways to live in the world. That's a morally relativistic stance. And there's something to that, obviously, because people differ in occupations, and they differ in outlook and so forth. They differ in political beliefs. So there's obviously many ways that we can thrive in the world. And so some degree of flexibility with regards to what constitutes your fundamental axioms obviously is necessary.
The second key is the willingness. More than that, the eagerness to maintain your new discipline deliberately, wisely, consistently. And the third key to discipline is the commitment to master the circumstances of your daily life, to see and harness the opportunities to make something of the sun and the rain, the good as well as what comes in the guise of misfortune. Discipline does many things, but most important of all is what it does for you. It makes you feel better about yourself.
How many times we're telling ourselves what we can't do? I can't stay at home for a month and teach these children. I can't deal with these unfair people at work. I can't handle this challenge in my health. It's going to be too hard. We're dreading things, thinking these weak, defeating thoughts, when the truth is, you have already been equipped to handle it. You have strength for all things.
What makes it hard is your lack of belief that it can happen for you. The fact of it is, though, it's very doable. See, but you got to change that. If you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting. So if you're at a place in your life and you ain't happy with it, you have to change some things. But you have to make a conscientious decision that you're going to change.
So I've studied and studied and studied and studied a lot about seeking God's face and not his hand. And I just know that mornings are very important. My favorite time of the day is the first 2 hours of the morning. I want it quiet. I want to be left alone. The only person that I let get near me is my dog.
It is the fear that keeps you in a performance mode. It is the fear that keeps you spending money to look like something important because deep down you're afraid that you're really not. It is the fear that keeps you overcompensating, and you get in situations, and rather than letting other people be the center of attention, you feel the need to overcompensate to show how intelligent you are, because deep down you don't feel intelligent enough.
When you really sit back at your life and you are in that dark room and you're looking at where you started from and you tell yourself, dog, man, my mom is this way, my stupid stepdad got murdered, my dad beat the shit out of me, I can't read and write to save my soul, I've lied about it to everybody, I've cheated on all these tests, and then you put a goal in your mind. How are you gonna feel, man, when you are this goal coming from that.
Your job is to change what you bring pain and pleasure to. So that night, what was pleasure became pain, and now it takes no willpower, you just avoid it. So we call that changing what you associate the things in your nervous system, or for short, a neuroassociative change. In other words, changing in your nervous system, what you associate pain and pleasure to.
It's about facing your fears. It takes discipline to face your fears so you can conquer them. It's so often the easy path that calls to us to be weak for that moment, to break down for that moment, to give in to the desire and the short-term gratification. But the discipline will not allow that.
What would your life be like as you look toward the future if you decided, I'm not going to allow my fears to stop me? What would your life be like? What would your future be like if you decided to want that which you desire so strongly that it prepares you past your fears, that you experience the fear, as the one book says, feel the fear and do it anyway?
I challenge you to go in there and get that doggone piece of paper and that pencil and do your best. I challenge you. I challenge you to go to class and act like you got some sense. Ain't nobody got to put you on medicine. You know how to sit down and shut up. You do it when you're watching videos.